everyone. I hope you can see my screen. So, good evening, everyone. We will talk about .NET. So, introduction to .NET. We will covering these topics. First one is what is .NET? Basically, .NET ecosystem. What is framework? .NET framework. We see this terminology .NET, but internally how it structures, how it allows you to develop applications and all that. Then we will look into past and its present. So .NET is also has a long history, and now recently it has gone pretty much changes. And if you are not aware of those changes, and if you are not keeping up to date with those changes, you might feel overburdened. Like what is this terminology I am not getting? Why new terminology is coming and all that. So we'll look into what is the past, present, and how it will evolve in the future. Second, then we have typical execution flow. So then we will move more into how .NET apps works, how we actually uh, create programs, write code, then package it, then distribute it, and how it will run on the target systems. So in order to understand this on .NET ecosystem, we should be able to understand in typical environment how it works. So that's the short one, typical execution flow of any application. Then we will talk about execution in .NET ecosystem, so specific to .NET apps. Then we'll go much more deeper into .NET, and we will talk about what components are there in .NET itself. Then we will go outside of it, and we will see how .NET is actually ranked on the web. So web, or you can say in the industry. And then we'll take a short look at the career path and job opportunities that learning this .NET standard, how to say .NET ecosystem can provide you. What we are expecting from this webinar. So it's not like you are going to go and create applications from day one. We are just trying to understand what is actually .NET and how it will enable you to create applications. Because on top of that, you will be able to write applications, write a code, and you will be able to deploy, distribute and deploy those applications. So in short, what our objectives are, we will be able to understand what components .NET provides, what .NET ecosystem is, what its history, and what it can provide in the future. Then execution flow of code in .NET ecosystem. Then we'll look into how it ranks in the industry. Then career paths and opportunities. So just a brief overview, what roles you can play, what type of opportunities are there in the market. Okay. So let's start with .NET overview first. So .NET is basically free and open source. So mind this words over here: free and open source developer platform, and also an ecosystem for developing applications. Okay, and it is maintained and delivered by Microsoft. So when I say free and open source, so you can go to GitHub and update their code as well. You can read their code base. Entire code base is now open source and available on GitHub. You can download it, you can study that code, you can modify that code, you can contribute to the .NET ecosystem. So that's free and open source. Then it's platform and ecosystem both. So platform as in, it's not just a programming language, it's not just runtime, it's not just your one exe that is provided, it's entire ecosystem provided. So if you want to write a code, it will provide you with tools, it will provide you with SDKs, it will provide you with frameworks. We'll go into what is frameworks and libraries. So entire set, if you want to deploy it, how can we deploy it onto the target machines? How can we share this created applications? If you want to troubleshoot this deployed applications, how can we troubleshoot them? So all these bits and pieces, it is provided by Microsoft, or it is provided as a part of .NET ecosystem. So that's why it is platform and ecosystem for developing applications. Applications, we are saying applications because it can be anything. So you can create console applications, desktop applications, web applications, then cloud-based applications, system tools as well. So, and IoT, if you talk about mobile applications, then we have IoT like a buzzer or something. So those are all possibilities are there. So in short, .NET is a open source and free platform and ecosystem for developing applications. Okay. Then what it provides. So .NET enables developers to create applications for targeting different platforms. So when I say platforms, it is like I am talking about OS or form factors. So like OS is like Windows, Linux, and Mac. So those are pretty much mainstream OSs, and .NET allows you to create applications targeting those OS. Also, you can create applications for different type of systems, like desktop applications for Windows. You can create application GUI applications. For Linux, you can create console system applications or web applications. For mobile, you can create mobile apps. For IoT like you have doorbell with video camera, something like that. So that kind of applications also can be created with .NET. Okay, so that's with what platforms and targeted devices we can target for. Then .NET provides frameworks and libraries for faster and enterprise-ready applications. So there are two keywords here: frameworks and libraries. So people get confused, so I'll first clarify this part. Frameworks are something which are reusable code or standards. Those will run your code. Okay, so those are provided by some other developers or some other industry, industrial giants, something like Microsoft, and you write certain small code, and that lab framework will run your code. Libraries, on the other hand, it's your code entirely. So you are writing some code, you are packaging into some group or package, and that's we are calling as libraries. So frameworks and libraries. So there are multiple frameworks provided, like ASP.NET is there. Then we have WPF, XAML is there. Then we have .NET Core. Within .NET Core, we have WinForms as well, WCF. Then for cloud, Dapper is there, Entity Framework is there. So it's all frameworks available for you that you can reuse to create enterprise-ready applications in shorter period of time with minimal efforts. And also, when I say enterprise-ready applications, it means those are tested in production-ready performance and security. Okay. Libraries, there are so many open source libraries available, like common functionalities, those are created, like addition of two numbers, that's a library. Those such kind of libraries, also complex libraries are provided by Microsoft .NET ecosystem, and as well as other open source developers in the community. Okay. Then programming languages. So I'm saying we can write code in and it will run on .NET ecosystem. But which programming language we can use? So .NET supports .NET as a framework or .NET as an ecosystem is programming language agnostic. That means you can use any programming language that is compliant with the .NET ecosystem. Okay. Officially, Microsoft maintains three programming languages. One is C Sharp, second one is F Sharp, and third one is Visual Basic. C Sharp is widely used, most used in the market. F Sharp is the second used, Uh, F Sharp is another into something different domain, and it is now being used very much and frequently, and it's demanding in certain scopes. What you can say, whenever you need functional programming, then F Sharp is the go-to if you are targeting for .NET. Then we have Visual Basic. Visual Basic is also used, and this syntax is quite similar to VB6. So it's not like it is not used, and it is also used in the market. Uh, but share of C Sharp and F Sharp is pretty huge in the market. Okay. Apart from this, there are Python, Java, then C++. Those kind of languages has been ported to .NET framework ecosystem, and you can use that programming languages as well. Okay. Then let's talk about cross-platform support. So .NET, as I mentioned earlier, it allows you to target multiple platforms, Windows, Linux, Mac, different form factors. So how cross-platform? So this we are talking about different OSs, different form factors. This is all about cross-platform support. So we have certain you can say part in .NET ecosystem. One is called .NET Core. So this is today's standard. .NET Core is purely created to support cross-platform, and applications created in .NET Core can run on Windows, Linux, Mac for web and console. There is one .NET framework. This is specific to our Windows platform. .NET framework applications create desktop applications, Windows services. These components, those are tightly coupled with Windows OS that you can target to .NET framework. Okay. If you are targeting for Linux machines, or you are targeting for more for cloud apps or web apps, you are definitely should go for .NET Core. So that's today's standard. Then we have Xamarin and Mono. So Xamarin and Mono are mostly for targeting your mobile phones, but also it is more like a one code base targeting multiple OSs. So once you write a code in Xamarin, you can run this one in Windows desktop, Linux desktop. Then you have iOS in and Android. So you write once, you create apps for different platforms, and you deploy it on those respective platforms. So that is Xamarin and Monophonic. Okay. So yeah, uh, .NET, and now this is something which companies are using .NET. These you can see Microsoft, since they have developed, they are to use it as a full-fledged one. Stack Overflow is also deployed on ASP.NET, and it is using .NET behind the scenes. Accenture is quite using extensively. I'd like to mention that Microsoft Bing search engine, that is also developed on ASP.NET, .NET Core. It uses .NET Core behind the scenes, and yeah, it is able to support so many requests, and it is able to handle that many requests. So that's something how production ready frameworks they provide. Okay, if you want to look into more customers for .NET customers, you can navigate to this website. It's just for information purpose only. Okay, so that's quite a short overview of what is .NET. I have not gone into programming language there. Just wanted to give you overview on what actually .NET is, what you can expect from it. Okay, so let's talk about past and present. So .NET framework was first released in 2002, and it was released only for Windows OS. So here you can see the keyword .NET framework. So when we say .NET Framework, it is only targeted for Windows. Okay. Then over the time, in 2004, there was open source development was done, termed as Mono. And since this development was an effort to target our .NET framework to other ecosystems like Linux, embedded mobile platform, IoT, and so on. So this went well, and they released version 2, and they were able to migrate .NET framework libraries version until version 2 successfully on Mono. And they were quite active in this development. And as a result, recently Mono was acquired by Microsoft, and now Mono is part of Microsoft. In 2000, uh, going forward, in 2011, Xamarin was released as an open source solution based on Mono runtime to create hybrid apps. So hybrid apps as a same code base, creating applications for multiple platforms. So you write one code and you make small changes for particular platforms like iOS or Android or Windows, and same code base can be reused for those platforms. So Xamarin was created. Xamarin was based on XAML of WPF, loosely dependent on that part, and it got so much better acceptance from the community, and basically Xamarin is now also acquired by Microsoft, and it is now part of .NET main .NET ecosystem. Okay, so going forward until 2016, officially Microsoft was only releasing .NET framework, but before releasing .NET Core, they were also for a couple of years they were also supporting Xamarin and Mono as a open source contribution, so that they can flourish in the open source market. In 2016, Microsoft released their own version termed as .NET Core, and .NET Core allows user to create applications on different platforms. So initially .NET framework was restricted to Windows OS. Now it is open to all the platforms, Windows, Linux, Macs, and other ecosystems. So that is something that drastically changed the future of .NET. So in today's world, C# is used widely along with F# to create battle-ready, enterprise-ready applications in shorter time using C#, F#, and your .NET Core applications. So going forward in 2020, they releases .NET 5 as a unified platform. So until this one, 2002, we have .NET Framework. .NET Framework is going on. In 2016, they released .NET Core. .NET Core has its own version. They are also releasing .NET Framework. But in 2020, they said, okay, we are not doing any more .NET Framework and .NET Core. We will be releasing only one .NET, and we are naming it as .NET 5. Okay, and this .NET 5 includes, it's basically takes concepts from .NET Core, but it's not entirely .NET Core. It's a unified ecosystem, and it includes everything. Like you can create desktop applications, you can create a web application, multi-OS, multiple target applications. That's the main motto of .NET 5. So you don't have to worry about what is .NET Framework, what is .NET Core. Should it work on Linux or not? Should it work on Windows or not? You don't have to worry. You just create one .NET application. It will automatically target for your OS. Definitely, you will have to do these changes in packaging if you want. But yeah, by default, it will create cross-platform applications. Okay. If we go into the future, there is already .NET 6 in development. It is not released yet. It is a developer version there. That version will also include more IoT and mobile related frameworks. So it will be like targeting more platforms with ongoing forward. Yeah. So let's talk about more into .NET, how it works, how execution works. So let's before jumping to that, let's talk about how typical execution of any application works. First step, what we do is can write code in any programming languages. We have JavaScript, we have C, C++, Java, anything. In this case, we can talk about C# or anything. Then that code is either compiled or linked. When we say compiled or linked, and both. So basically, if you are using external libraries, then that libraries are imported in your code, and based on that, one package is created. Okay. Compilation will check for your semantics, whether your code follows the standards, syntax, whether you are missing some semicolon, curly braces or not. That's the two things, syntax and semantics. And when this compilation and linking is done, it's okay. Then we'll move to next stage, that is packaging. So packaging is basically if you want to share your application, how can you share that? Basically with C, C++, it was typically you are targeting to specific OS or platform like x86 or x64, or you are targeting for ARM processors, and you say that I want to compile this for x86 machine, I want to target it for x64 or ARM one, and then it will create one exe or simple file. If you go to Linux, there is no extension, so simple file there, and that is called as packaging. So we are combining our linked compiled code into package so that we can distribute it. When you distribute it on someone else's machine, this when you execute that executable, or you run that code or run that application, it is first trying to load this environment loader is doing that part. So loader is what it trying to do. It is trying to load the shared assemblies. It is trying to get this memory mapping done. So uh, in initial stages, when we were doing coding in assembly language, we were um, targeting specific pointers in the memory. But in today's world, we don't do that, and loader is actually taking care of that. So that is loader doing for you. And then whatever loader has created, that machine code, that code is now pushed to your CPU, and CPU is doing the actual execution. So 1 plus 1, what do you, if you need to do 1 plus 1, that is a part of CPU. CPU is actually doing 1 plus 1, but 1 and 1, two inputs should be added. That instruction is provided by loader, and that information is updated, uh, pushed into registers, CPU registers by loader. Uh, I hope that makes sense. Okay. So that's a basic typical application. Now let's talk about how it goes into .NET ecosystem. So in .NET, we start with programming languages. We create a code. So we write a code in either C#, F#, or Visual Basic. Or if you are someone enthusiastic one, so you can always try with Python or Java and get it working with the .NET. And we so this code is actually using our libraries and frameworks. So libraries are shared code bases that are industry verified, already being used in production ready code. So those libraries, frameworks like ASP.NET, as I mentioned, ASP.NET for web, WCF is there for Windows services, WPF is there for your Windows desktop applications. Then if you want to simply create console apps, then we have these console applications. So those libraries and frameworks are there. Then you use any tools for development. If you want to use, you can simply go ahead and write code in Notepad, Notepad++, but you will have to do this extra steps on your own. Or else you can use IDEs provided by Microsoft itself. Those are Visual Studio or Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code is entirely free, open source editor. You can use it. Visual Studio also uh, paid version is there, but it provides you Visual Studio Community version that is free to use. You can download, and it all includes all the features. Those are available in .NET. Those are available in Visual Studio. So it's pretty huge package, Visual Studio. You can use that one. Okay. When you write a code, you pass it to your compiler. Compiler for each programming language, it will have its own compiler. So like for C Sharp, it is called CSC. For VB, it's called VBSC. So C Sharp compiler and F Sharp compiler are there. Then this compilers, it will do the same thing. It will create, it will check for semantics and syntax. It will try to load the libraries code into your code itself. Okay.